It's sad enough that our young men are being killed. But when our women are not safe, as men in our community, we are called to stand up and protect the women in our community. That's right. And when our women are not safe, then it's going to get to a point that we can no longer be passive.
There you go.
At some point, we have to fight aggression with aggression. As pastors and Christians, yes, we're called to love. We're called to forgive. But we're not called to be fools.
That's right.
And it's time out for you continue to kill the people in our neighborhood and expect us to be passive. So again, I'm with Bishop Kirkland. When I first got involved with this is what I said. What bothers me with us as a community is 2 or 3 weeks we'll be upset, we'll be angry, and then we'll go on with life. But what we're finding out, if we stop for 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks later, somebody else may be killed. So we got to stand up as a community and let them know that we're sick and tired of our young ladies being killed. We're sick and tired of our sons being killed. And the thing with this, you can't say she had a gun in her hand. It don't matter if she did, because in all actuality, if the castle doctrine could have stood in the Ambergaga trial, then it could have stood in this one. She had the right to protect herself if she's in her own house. And if you're outside of my house, walking outside of my window, and there is a gun in my house, as a person that has property and is a rightful property owner, I have a right to protect myself. So I want to find out how you're going to twist this one, how you're going to turn this one to try and make it seem as though it's justified for you killing this lady in her house. And the next thing I would like to say to Chief Krause, Mayor Betsy Price, and all the city officials, we're not asking for a suspension. And I'm saying as a community, we're not asking for a suspension. We're asking for termination. We're not going to allow you to tell us he got suspended for 30 days and we applaud you and say, job well done. This person, whoever it is, male or female, does not need to be on the streets. Because if that was me and I killed somebody that was in their own house, me knowing from dealing with the system, y'all gonna put me in prison and put me in there for a long time. So we cannot allow this woman to do this or this man to do this, keep their job, and then not label them as what they are, and that is a murderer.
That's right.
So again, we're calling on our communities to understand, and I'm with Bishop. No, we're not here to sell our people out. No, we're gonna fight hand, feet, tooth and nail for our communities. Because in all actuality, I think that's what people miss. We just like y'all. I don't care how many tables we go sit at. If they catch me at the wrong time in the wrong place, it could be Pastor Rodney McIntosh that get killed, just like they done this woman.
Now, at this point, I want to bring Kevin Reese into the conversation. He's been hearing from neighbors and also those faith leaders in the community we just heard from. Kevin, it seems that the anger has really just grown as we see the video and get more information about what happened here.
And it continues to grow with the relative silence from the Fort Worth Police Department. That's what's bothering folks the most right now. I want to give you a vantage point where we are right at this moment. We are at the side of the house. This is where the officers approached, walked along the side of this, which is actually one of the nicer houses in this neighborhood, walked through that fence into the backyard, and that's where that single shot was fired. What bothers the neighbors right now, you're going to hear from more of them in a moment, is there are no police here right now. They have released a portion of that body cam video. They've released one photo of a gun inside that house after the fact. They've had a written press release, but that is it at this point. No news conference has been called. Fort Worth Police say they will not be talking anytime soon. So community leaders, for a number of reasons, including those, are incensed, and of course, they are making obvious comparisons to the death of Botham Jean in Dallas. This is part of what those community leaders had to say earlier today.
If the officer is at fault, then the officer must suffer the consequences, because you cannot continue to kill people and justify it because they're law enforcement.
So our concern is this. Number one is that as in Dallas in Botham Jean's case, police entering the house. This time the police took it a step further, and she was in her own place and shot and killed her. That is not only unacceptable, that's murder. That's right. The Fort Worth police murdered this woman. Don't paint this sister as no villain. That's right. If you do that, if you paint this sister as a villain, this city gonna have hell to pay. Don't paint this sister as no villain. They're the ones who murdered. They murdered her, and there's no excuse for it. None. That's it.
I call on the police department to be totally transparent, starting immediately, to not hide anything, to not withhold anything from the community of Fort Worth. We're tired of this, and it's going to stop.
And we're sick